Hello, hello, hello. It's LaTonya Martin. I am the broker and owner of Grande Homes, and this is Buying and Selling Nashville. I'm excited today because as a real estate broker, my goal is always to help you buy or sell your properties, of course. But my goal is to also make sure that you keep those properties because the main thing is to build wealth, and leave a legacy for your family. In order to do that, not only do you buy properties, but you need to make sure that you can keep and maintain them. And as we know, property taxes have went up and continue to be on the rise.
Mhm.
And we have found and talked to um, different organizations that are able to help and assist with that. And today we have Alicia Haddock from the Housing Fund, who's going to talk to us about her program, their program, the Resiliency Fund, and it's to help you offset your property taxes for low to moderate income homeowners in Nashville. So she's going to tell us more about that, as well as how we can help or be a part of that or sign up for that tax relief. So, Alicia, I'm going to turn it over to you. Tell us a little bit about yourself first and then jump right on it.
Well, thank you, Latanya. Thank you for having me on today. Your reputation precedes itself, as one of our leading brokers and real estate agents in the city. And thank you for what you have done for the community. Right, just because the housing market and that landscape has changed for Nashville, and so keeping up with it is a task in itself. So thank you for what you're doing.
Thank
Yeah, like you said, the housing fund is right in the thick of it. I came over to affordable housing a little over a year ago, full time, because I was doing it in my work previously at the Magruder Center, but I wanted to give my full attention to it because I thought, it is the issue of the day, especially when you're talking about uh, living your full potential. When you're thinking about affordability and having a roof over your head, no matter if it's home ownership, or just housing in general. What does that look like for our Nashville neighbors? And so when the housing fund presented an opportunity to play a part in what that looks like, for not just Nashville, but the state of Tennessee, because we're across the entire state, I really wanted to be a part of the work. And so we've come today to talk about, property tax relief. And really, it's speaking to the preservation of affordable housing, the preservation of the housing stock that is already in existence in Nashville, Davidson County. And that's pretty important in our book, in the work that we do, right? Not just in creating affordable housing and maintaining it, but also preserving it. And so when we're talking about, property tax relief, you're right. It's going up, property taxes. And just so happens, 2021 was an assessment year. And we know that the pressures that existing homeowners are under. And so what, could we do, or what can we do to kind of alleviate some of that pressure? And so property tax relief in our sense is one of those things, right? What is an incentive that we could help um, uh, provide for existing homeowners? And so the Housing Resiliency Fund was birthed through the help of Amazon. A generous donation was given, and we wanted to help preserve home ownership for hundreds of homeowners facing, housing insecurity. We did some testimonials. And so they were pretty remarkable when you heard from actual recipients of the grant that said, this is what we needed to help us preserve, this lifelong dream, because everybody, home ownership isn't for everybody, but if it is, how do we help preserve it in Nashville?
Absolutely.
And so what we did is create a program, specifically geared for 7 zip codes that we understood to be, maybe vulnerable to the pressures of the growth that you see in the city of Nashville. And so those 7 zip codes, and I'm going to call them out because they're extremely important to us, and not saying that the other zip codes are not, because every community in Nashville is important. But we designated 7 zip codes within the property tax relief program, which is 37013, 37206, 37207, 37208, 37211, 37216, and 37218. And so we ask that, within that program, that the property owner currently reside at that property. Like, this is their main residence.
Okay.
And then we also put a parameter in there, which has nothing to do with you living in those zip codes, but if you are a Metro employee. So our thought around it was, who are our public servants, right? Who in Davidson County have really given their careers to public service, and we wanted to include those people as well. So when you're talking about the Housing Resiliency Fund, it's really focused on that core Nashville community that is given their careers, and then also maybe vulnerable to a certain demographic, meaning that 80%, 100%, and 120% area median income that may be vulnerable to housing insecurity. Right. And so I'll get to that, because it's not just about where you live, but it's also about your income.
Okay.
So when you're talking about the Housing Resiliency Fund, there are income guidelines. And so we have a chart that's on our website at thehousingfund.org. And that's thehousingfund.org, right, under the Housing Resiliency Fund, that says, that's in line with HUD guidelines that we go by. So, for example, if you are 80% area median income and you have a family of 4, that income is around $450,000. And so then you would qualify as 80% area median income. And then that indicates to us that you may be eligible for 5 years of property tax assistance, because the program is from 1 to 5 years of assistance.
Okay.
And so we all, most of us have heard about the Metro government program for property tax relief. And it's a great program, that a lot of people have taken part of, but you have to be 65 years or older, and at a certain, income level. And Trustee Gilmore's office, manages that program in conjunction with the state, and we collaborate really well, matching those funds and programs together, and really, making sure that people have the resources that they need. But our program is just a little bit different, because we don't have age restrictions and things like that. So we have just a little bit more flexibility.
Okay.
But, our income level and guidelines are closely tied to the number of years of assistance you receive. And so that 80% area median income is tied to 5 years, and 100% is tied to area median income is tied to 3 years. And the 100 and 20% area median income is tied to 1 year.
So my question with that is, if I'm approved for that, how does the assistance work? Is it a certain amount that you get based on your income, based on your taxes? How does the amount of assistance,
Work.
how is that determined?
So it's determined by your property taxes, right?
Okay.
So it's not like a set limit. So let's, for example, if your property taxes last year was $1,200, and this year it went up to 1,400, then your assistance would be $200,
Okay.
right?
The
And
difference in the
so
increase.
it's the difference. It is whatever that
Okay.
increase in your property taxes. But
Okay.
just imagine some people's property taxes, if it were $1,200, if it was $1,200, last year, and it went up to $3,000,
Yeah.
this year, then
Mine mine triple. Yeah.
it would be the increase.
Yeah.
And so I think that's pretty significant, when we're talking about, really the preservation of affordable housing, because sometimes when we're talking about affordability, your property taxes went up, but your pay didn't.
Correct.
Your household income may not have. And
Right.
so what we understood very clearly is, the circumstances in our communities did not, change, but, maybe, our property taxes did,
Right.
right? Our circumstances in our households didn't change, but the circumstances in our city did.
Right. And to add to that, on the realtor side, when you buy a home, of course, you lock in these 30-year, 15 or 20-year mortgages,
Mhm.
and your payment only changes when your taxes increase
That is correct.
or your homeowners insurance increase.
That's right.
So though your mortgage maintains that same amount, your actual mortgage payment can increase based on those other items if it's all included in your payment. So this definitely helps with that too, because your payment, your mortgage payment could have went up.
That's right. And so, you know what? That's an interesting point, LaTonya, because I really want to encourage people who have escrow accounts. This program is for you, right? As well, because we understand very clearly, just because, you don't, you still have a mortgage and an escrow account, please apply for this program, because we will send that payment to your mortgage company, right? And it will be applied to your escrow account. And then that helps you, maintain an affordable mortgage, so you can stay, in your home. That is how we preserve affordable housing. That is the thought behind a program like the Housing Resiliency Fund. And when I was looking, and when I first got here, I was looking at the data, and I was really kind of analyzing, who was applying for this. And of course, it makes sense if you get the actual property tax bill, right? And it's coming to you. But when you have a mortgage, you typically don't see your property tax bill, right?
Right.
It goes to your mortgage company. And you don't think about it until you get your mortgage statement at the end of the year, and your mortgage has increased.
Right.
Right. And then now you think about, well, what made my mortgage payment increase? It could be your property taxes, right? And so now we start to, we begin to think about, other, ways that we could, lower those payments. And this is a way, the Housing Resiliency Fund is a viable way that we can help keep money in our homes, right? And in our bank accounts, so we can increase, right, generational wealth, even in this climate of uncertainty in affordable housing, and trying to preserve our homes.
Right. And she mentioned, of course, the 5 year with 4 people, but the income actually can go up to 120%
That's
and you
right.
can make more money. So don't just think you're limited to the $67,000. There's more income that you can make. based on family size and
That's
income.
right.
So definitely look up on the website to see where you fit in your criteria to make sure to see if you qualify. Now, for them to determine if they qualify, what are you looking at? Are you looking at tax returns? Are you looking at W-2s? What are you looking for to get this amount of income?
Yeah, so of course you have to submit documents, right? Just because we have to verify that you live in those one of those 7 zip codes, you are a Metro employee, that your income is what you say it is. And so we do ask that you submit those tax returns. That's very easy for us to verify your income information. We ask for, a bank statement, that property tax statement, so we can compare 2020 to 2021, and then that's how we come up with that number of relief. And then if you have a mortgage, so we can send that payment to the correct place, to the mortgage company, a driver's license, just for verification, and then a utility bill, right? And then all of that information stays under lock and key at the housing fund. It is not shared with anyone. No entity, not even Amazon. It is kept private at the housing fund, and so that is how we verify, the information that you are submitting, and then we process it, and we send those payments, as I said, either to your mortgage company or straight to the office of the Metropolitan Trustee. And so we have a really great working relationship with them. The process has become somewhat seamless on the housing fund's part, because we've helped over 650 Davidson County residents. We have really poured, a lot into this program, because it has proven to become very effective in a preservation method of affordable housing in Nashville. I think, from our data and what we've collected, I think that this is probably one of Nashville's go-to programs when we're talking about, how we help Nashville, existing Nashville homeowners, preserve their housings.
And see, I'm excited about that. My goal, is not just to sell you all the time, but to make sure that you have the resources,
That's right.
tools, and information that you need to help you stay in that property, get a property, or
That's
learn about
right.
what's going on, because you need to know what's going on in your area, who you can go to for help, and whether you're buying or selling or keeping, right? That's all the goal. So once again, what I got from that is, if you're a Metro employee, it doesn't matter what your zip code is.
That's
Is that
correct.
correct? If you are not a Metro employee, there are certain zip codes, which repeat those zip codes one more time, if you don't mind, Alicia.
I sure will. It's 37013, 37206, 37207, 37208, 37211, 37216, and 37218.
And you want to go again to their website and give us the website again so they can go look that up for their income and limits and things like that.
Yeah, the website is thehousingfund.org, and that's thehousingfund.org. And LaTonya, let me say one thing, because I know sometimes we get really, prideful. Yeah, and that's not, we have pride, right? We worked really hard for the things that we have, but this is a grant. This is not a handout. And I don't want us to get confused about what the Housing Resiliency Fund is. This is about preserving something that's near and dear to us, and that's what we work for. And so the Housing Resiliency Fund was designed, created, and implemented for existing homeowners to preserve something that was built, and dreamt of and for, and so we want to really, drive that home. This is not a handout. It is a grant that does not have to be paid back. And so most of us know what grants do and what they are, and it's just a grant that's very, supposed to be, very obtainable, right? We don't have to jump through hoops to get it. And so I really want to make sure that everybody understands that. And we've also expanded the grant. And so I wanted to give us an opportunity to talk about the expansion of this grant to landlords.
Yes, which is exciting. I mean, I'm going to go online too and see can I qualify because I'm telling y'all where the grants are, but I got to make sure too that I can get me one, right?
That's right.
Um, share this information. But a great thing. So that was for homeowners. Now we know that even when people are buying, clients are buying, everyone wants to get into investing. So some clients, their first home is an investment property, right? You live in one and you rent out two or rent out one. So as a landlord, there is also property tax relief for you too. So
That's right.
talk on that and speak on that and the qualifications and things like that for property owners, landlords.
Yeah, so the Housing Resiliency Fund was fortunate enough to expand, and that really kind of spoke to the need, but then also kind of the relevancy of a grant such as the Housing Resiliency Fund, right? That supports that existing preservation and the need for the existing home ownership, but the preservation of it. And so, what the landlord property tax relief is doing is really incentivizing landlords, small landlords, and nonprofit organizations that provide affordable rents in Davidson County. And so, it provides property tax relief, sort of in the same form as the homeowner property tax relief that the Housing Resiliency Fund is doing, but it focuses on those with 1 to 50 units of affordable housing that's providing that affordable housing or affordable rents in Davidson County.
What is
And
affordable rents?
so that's also right. So let me be clear on that. And we go by HUD fair market rents. And so, if you're providing uh, 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 fair market rents in the Davidson County area, you may know what those are, but we're going by HUD fair market rents. And
Okay.
so all of that spelled out, and on our website again, if you click on the Housing Resiliency Fund landlord property tax relief. So we leave nothing to the imagination, right? All that table is on the website, and we provide information from an efficiency all the way to 4 bedroom, right? And so we make it very clear on what those that criteria is. And so for an efficiency, that rent it can be higher than $1,079, right? And so that's kind of what we're looking for. It's not kind of, that is what we're looking for, something less than that. And it shows you what that table is. But it's not just about small landlords, but nonprofit organizations can provide, that affordable rent in Davidson County. And so the thought behind that when we were creating this, expansion of the Housing Resiliency Fund was really based off, preservation and really leading to creation of affordable housing in Nashville. When the Affordable Housing Task Force got together, last summer, they were really talking about housing costs and how it has risen over the past 10 years. And so we were looking at that when we were shaping this program. And if they analyze, we need 53,000 units, new housing units by 2030. What could we do, right, to kind of preserve what we already have? So then that means we really can't afford to lose much, And so to meet this goal, we thought that, a viable way to incentivize the current affordable housing stock was to, help or incentivize current landlords to keep, units affordable. And so property tax relief is how we wanted to do that.
So
So
for those, I'm sorry.
go ahead, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, so for those, it's not based on W-2s or income, but it's more based on, well, it's based on the income that you get. What are you looking for with that? Are you looking for to see the lease? What do you need for a landlord to be approved? Is it income based or
So
property based?
So here it is. So of course we said, 1 to 50 units, right?
Okay.
So really kind of like that small landlord, we're we're not looking for, that mega landlord. We're looking for that small landlord who's very intentional, that nonprofit organization who's
Okay.
very intentional about providing those affordable rents. But then also, the items that we ask for, we do ask for tax returns, but that's to verify that you are providing affordable housing, or rental property. Then we're asking for your rent roll, and that's to see, that you are renting those properties out, that you're collecting the rent that you say you're collecting. And then those property tax statements, like we said, that's how we calculate how much funding you will receive, right? And so because we calculate it the same way we calculate homeowner property tax relief, and so we're taking that previous year and subtracting it from the current year, and then that's what we send to the trustee's office, to the office of the metropolitan trustee. And so it has been successful so far. We have helped over 163, preserve 163 units, and that is phenomenal. We basically started at the beginning of the year, and we have had much success in terms of data, and helping preserve about 253 Davidson County residents, stay in their rental units. So I think, the idea behind, property tax relief and really, preserving housing in such a way is a viable way to help Nashville. Um,
Absolutely.
yeah, yeah, in affordable housing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm excited. I'm going to put together a newsletter for all my past clients, homeowners and landlords, so that I get this information out to them. If they don't see this video, honey, I'm going to include the video too, but I'm going to make sure they have links and everything. Because again, the goal is to help,
Mhm.
help our clients, help those in the community, to
Yeah,
know what's out here so that they can benefit, build wealth, and leave a legacy for their family. So I appreciate everything that the Housing Fund is doing. So the Housing Fund does several things. This is just one of many.
it
Um,
is.
one of many things. And we'll share more because I don't want to overwhelm everyone, because this one to me is really a big one. The way the property taxes has definitely increased. We
Yes.
definitely want to do all we can to help the community, and get the
Mhm.
word out there about this program. So again, we appreciate you coming on, Alicia, and just sharing your wealth of knowledge, and this information, because this is some great information. When you told me about it, we met up and she was telling me about it, and I said, I didn't know. Like I think I need to know everything. So I'm just trying to figure out what's going on so that I can let everybody else know. So I'm excited. I'm excited to share it. So again, I appreciate you all, and we'll have you on again soon, because you got so much other things going on too that we need to talk about
We
and get
really
out.
do. We do. But look, I'm like, so what's the next thing we need? So the next thing, about the community land trust. So, but
Mhm.
I appreciate it, LaTonya. I really do. I appreciate you sharing your platform with the Housing Fund. You are near and dear to our hearts. And so we thank you for all that you do for our community. We thank you for all that you do in the area of housing, affordable housing, and really being, out there, and being a voice for us and our people. So thank you. And we welcome an opportunity to come back, because we do the housing fund, from commercial development to down payment assistance to shared equity, to the community land trust. We have so much going on, and we're really out there, representing our community. And so I really would welcome the opportunity to come back and bring some people along with me. So thanks, Tanya.
Absolutely. I appreciate you again. All right. Well, we'll talk to you all soon. And if you're looking to buy or sell in Nashville, give me a call at LaTonya Martin at Grand Style Homes. Talk to you soon. Have a good day. Bye bye.
Bye bye.